Masks. Tracking masks. So, what are masks and how to use them? If we look at the Effect Controls panel, each effect will have 3 windows, which means that we can create a mask that will limit the area of the use of the effect. How does it work? Let's say we have a certain video frame where we need to blur an area. For example, we use fast blur and we need to limit its zone. To do it, we use a mask. There are 3 types of masks. First of all, there is ellipse mask. It's the 4-point polygon mask that we can edit in the program window. A square appears, which we can move as we want, shift its points and create a polygon. There are a few little nuances. We need to press Ctrl to delete a point, and we need to press Alt to edit the Bezier parameter to the point. There are tendrils that allow us to create a more complex, flexible shape that we need. A click returns it to the broken Bezier, and a double click returns it to linear. How to use it? We delete the created masks. We have another tool. It's free Draw Bezier. We select this mask and we use the points to indicate the object that we want to blur. Now this mask limits the range of this effect. In addition, the mask has a blur area, mask feather. By default, the end point in the mask is always in Bezier. So let's make it linear. After placing the points, we see a dotted line, that is, the area of the blur. If we change the parameter from 10 to 50, this zone will become wider, and this parameter can be adjusted directly from the frame by moving the ring down or up. If we pull it up, the blur zone will increase, and on the contrary, if we pull it down, the blur zone will decrease. There is such a parameter as mask expansion. That is, we have outlined the mask, so we can spread this effect action a little wider or narrower than the mask itself. We need to use the square to change this effect directly from the frame. We can also move it up or down. Why do we need a mask if the frame is moving, but the mask remains in place? We need to connect the mask with the selected object. In order to link it, we have a such function as tracking. We can manually move the mask by turning on the stopwatch in the mask path function. But it's boring, and it's not why the Premiere developers have been achieving to make us to do this kind of work manually. So, they have added mask tracking for this task. If we click the play icon through the mask path function, it will start tracking and creates a key point for the position of this mask. We need to do the same thing in the opposite direction, since we started tracking from the middle of the frame. To do this, we return to the first point and track it in the opposite direction. So, what is mask expansion for? It often happens when the mask is located on an object that partially overlaps or tracks poorly. For example, there is something blurry or something with fuzzy edges. Tracking works on the territory of the mask that we have designated. In principle, we can designate a smaller area as the center, track it, and then extend the effect to a larger area. If we use a larger area, it can catch on another object and shift. And if we use a small contrast object, track it, and unfold the mask, then we can get the desired effect. The feature is that we can copy the made mask to other layers, to other videos, and to other effects. For example, if we look at the opacity parameter in the effect controls, here the masks will be 2. In this case, the mask indicates the range of the opacity parameter. So, if we limit something to this mask, then we made it clear that everything else will not be visible. There is also a filter parameter here. It opens up a large space for various combinations of images, for pictures floating into each other, and for other movements. For example, you can create the effect of a flashlight by marking the movement of the created opacity mask with points on the time interval. The main thing is that we have points, and they can be moving. We can copy this mask by pressing Ctrl+C on the mask in Effect Controls and transfer it, for example, to opacity. Thus, it will be transferred along with all tracking that we used. Also, we can create an abstract color field, such as bars and tone, and copy the opacity mask to it. If we have a size slightly larger than the desired one, then we'll compress it using scale to frame size by bars and tone. We have got a window into another window. We'll use masks quite often, and the potential of this tool is limited only by your imagination.